welcome to CATtheMinion Patreon. Hopefully you can hear me alright over my air. This is going to be the October Sagittarius reading. So that's for anybody with Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus, Jupiter. Anyone who feels compelled, if you're feeling the throes of Jupiter in Capricorn, it's I think it's going to be in Aquarius, but not until the end of the year, and it will have gone direct in mid-September. So by the time this reading is like on time for October, it will be direct. So if you're feeling that, Sagittarius South node, I think I just mispronounced that, I wasn't listening. Sagittarius South node. I think that's it. So I'm going to do a spread that I have called Block Moguls. It's $37, but I'm using charms, so that would make it a $44 reading if you want to get one for yourself. So I'm using an oracle deck here to get a final card for the reading. This is the Lover's Oracle. We've got the Wild Unknown Tarot, Mini OG, the Rider-Waite, and I've got the Gilded Reverie Lenormand. So for this reading, let me get this shit out of the way. I just vacuumed so everything is slightly out of place because I moved it to get to the window behind my table. So the way I'm setting this up is there's going to be 4 columns. One is Wands energy, that's the directive, the desire, the modus operandi, your core being, what's driving you. One column is going to be Cups, that's emotional content, or that sort of psychic feeling, the intuition, the movement of the spider web by the fly in it, or the ripple of the water coming into you. The third column is going to be the Swords energy, which is thoughts and perceptions. It's in the challenged position. And the fourth column is Pentacles, which is manifestation, but it could also be resources, money, or the physical body. If you're having blockages in the Pentacles energy, it could result in an illness of some sort. Headaches, and so on. So the Wild Unknown, I'm going to check the screen in a second. The Wild Unknown is going to be representing the 5D squared, which is kind of like your higher self, but it's like a bunch of your higher selves in like a soul group or a committee of some sort. A quorum, even. It's like your soul group, soul family. Why is there 4 there? These are flying everywhere. And so it's like your higher self I'm trying to figure out how to... The 5D squared, where it's like a soul group or a soul family, is kind of like everybody in the same class, but you might be working on slightly different presentations for the same class, right? It's like you're working on a group project, but everybody in theory is supposed to do their part of the project. Now the middle layer here, where I'm putting down 3 cards, is goes this way. This is the Moguls area. This is the 5D. This is your own higher self. It's sort of like where the message gets funneled down, but the connection is garbled. And the third row is the 3D. It's like how you're picking up on these energies. So it gives an overview of spiritual blockages that you might have. I think that's still supposed to go this way. I wish I hadn't seen those cards. This is how you're receiving the trickle down. Oh, I see what the problem is. The trickle down of the information. And then we'll get one of these at the end to, I put them in upside down because it keeps me from reading them before I'm ready. Alright, it came out as a double. I'm going to take both of them. Which apparently in the challenge position, it spun when I put it down. Okay. Now, I was getting charms afterwards, but I feel like putting them out right now. It sort of varies. Sometimes I get them in the middle or after, because it's usually easier to flip over the cards when there aren't charms in the way. It just depends. I was cleaning and I found the unicorn. Sometimes they fall out of the box because I have them in a stack and and this will get knocked over and they'll slide out the back. I think that's almost it. Yeah, that's it. Alright, so I got a couple that landed over here. I'm gonna check something real quick. Right back. Alright, so I'm gonna get into this and let me start by looking at these. No, let me not start. We'll start with the wands column here with the 5D squared. So right away I have the cello, and we'll see where that's leading in a minute. The biggest impression I get off of the cello is this sort of like a mournful sound that it comes in a lot of movie soundtracks, but it could also be sort of very active, or it could be used in metal music, much like the Sulickenhauser of two cellos or Apocalyptica. So we'll get into that. And it's coming in with oh, okay. I just got a download for the cello. Am I holding this in the right spot? 6 of Cups here. Look at all this color down here in the roots. I think this is the Sun in Scorpio, but let me check. Yeah, the Sun in Scorpio. So we have Leo energy, we have Pluto energy, which is currently retrograde. So this is usually the looking on the past. Pluto retrograde, it's telling me that we're going deeper, right? We're getting really into the roots of whatever is going on here. Now, the download that I just got for the cello, it's the idea that the cello could play every note in the orchestra, but it's shorthand coming in. It's like, I think it's A Day in the Life by the Beatles, where they had the orchestra just sort of like warm up and do their scales, sort of just individually, but recorded it together, so it just sounds like a bunch of noise hitting a crescendo. So to me, it's like this huge buildup of energies based on the past, and this Leo and Pluto energy coming in with the Scorpio of this card is indicating this this idea that there's something about to burst into view, like something coming to light in terms of dealing with the past, right? Overcoming root issues. 6 in Wands is victory, and it's coming in the Wands sector. So there's this idea that your sole purpose right now is this sort of crescendo of everything that's come before. That there's going to be some great explosion, and I think a lot of it might have to do with healing of ancestral trauma, right? Because we have the tree, and what do we have here but an evergreen? Right now, green could be the heart chakra, but it could also be physical stuff, manifestation, but it could also indicate life, Like your life purpose is to synthesize your ancestry into this crescendo of energy that's going to propel you forward. Ooh, I like that. I like it a lot. All right. So over here on the side next to this, off to the edge, it's the tea. A cup of tea. Right? Like this is the tea. Like there's something brewing. Like I said, a crescendo about to happen. And we have a teacup right here with these cups. Right? This is like the Ace of Cups with a little flavor. Is it chai? Is it oolong? We don't know. Could be anything. Alright, so in the 3D, this directive that is coming down. So the mice card, 7 of Wands in the Wands. Now the mice is, there's something eating away. Like a slow drainage, slow theft. Something's rotting. Right. Like you might have had something stored up, but somehow it's slowly being piddled away. There's something slowly gnawing away at your energy and resources. Now, it's coming into the challenge position, which means that there's a shift happening, especially because we have a total of 5 here with this 23. 7 of Wands is that, you know, I'm standing up for what I believe in, or I'm on the defensive. In the challenge position, I see it as I need to defend myself against this drainage. But I also need to be able to open up my energies so that I can let in what I need to let in to help the flow. But we have a 5 here, and we have a 7 here, which gives me Hangman energy. Now, Hangman energy in the challenge position is like sleep paralysis. Right? It's like I'm waking up, but I'm still in the astral plane. I'm not connected to my body. I have jet lag. And I see a High Priestess number and an Empress number here as well. So it's giving me this idea of, you know, I avoided nurturing myself and had a slow loss of energy, but I protected myself by defense. Like strategic defense. Like you can't, no access, you can't come in here. Even though I intuitively could tell there was something wrong. So it's sort of being right on the precipice of getting this information from up here. And I was going to say 7 of Cups, which is sort of, ooh, I just heard distortions. Usually it's distractions for me. Some people say it's options. But I see the teacup and the 6 other cups. And I was like, ooh, 7 of Cups. And then I got 7 wands here, right? It's like a cup being poured out. Interesting. I'm thinking of the Thoth deck. Let me get it. What is the 7 of Cups in the Thoth deck? I need it. Oh, I just moved my stuff too. I'm all weird now. Alright, let's get the Thoth deck. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell which one it is right away without looking at it, but we'll see. It's discs. It's 6 of Cups. I didn't want that one. 9. Wait a minute. It's not, that's, I want that one. I'm gonna find it. Let me get it. It's Wands. Come on. That's the Queen. I don't want that. Interesting. I said a crescendo here, right? And I said cups. And then I'm looking at the Chariot card. I'm like, isn't that 7 cups too? 7 Cancer, 7 water. Ah, here it is. This is what I wanted. Put these back the other way. These back in a minute. Oh, come on. Seven of Cups is debauch in this. Venus in Scorpio. Now what's interesting is this was the Sun in Scorpio for the 6, and Venus is in Leo right now, and I had a 7th cup over here. So it's like, this kind of looks like a tree that's got like toxic ooze on it. And I feel like this is the idea that this is going to clean this out. I'm going to put this down here. Now, down here next to this 7 of Wands, the mice with the Lenormand, I have this penguin. Now, I heard in my head, "Come in from the rain," which is a Jane Oliver lyric. I think it's from Chasing Rainbows. But the idea I got is like, come in from the cold. This idea of opening yourself up to more energy so that you're not, like, you don't want your cups to come in frozen because your emotions won't flow, right? You're just, you want to melt that ice. So let's see what the distortion is happening here in this 5D zone. 2 of Wands, Mars in Aries. So we have that right now. I believe Mars in Aries retrograde, I think until December. And then we have in a challenge position the 7 of Swords. So we've got, I see 777, and I see tilt. I see Sagittarius energy. I see the wheel. Right, jackpot. It's some of that crescendo again. Right, building up the pressure in the machine until it explodes. Now, like the penguin exploding on top of the TV. A little bit of Monty Python reference there for anybody who doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. 7 of Swords, the moon in Aquarius. Okay, so we have moon energy, we have the sun over here, now we have the moon, but it's turning. It's this idea of, if I see a sun or a moon and I see them in a challenge position, it tells me sunrise or sunset, which gives me again the idea of sleep paralysis. Like you're awake but you can't move. Right? This is like, I'm looking into the sunrise. It's like daybreak, nighttime, daybreak, nighttime. Am I gonna dig into the roots or am I gonna climb to the top of the tree? Right? It's like I'm getting rid of deceptions and garbage and crap that doesn't work for me, right? Because I have 5 swords here, that's the 5, the 23. Then I have these 2 other here, which becomes the choices of, like, where am I going to go? What's my truth? What are my true colors? And look at all this solar energy. It's all yellow. It's that Leo energy again. Venus directive. Okay, what's this other card? The Page of Cups inverted. This is kind of like a combo of this. He's got like reddish orange and he's in a yellowy background, and this is like the smash up thing. So I've got one upright, one challenge, and one inverted. And I'm not surprised to see the Page of Cups here. It's like, I don't know how to make tea yet. I don't know what the flavors are. This is like emotional vulnerability. I don't know what to do yet. I don't know how I feel about coming out of this. I don't know how to feel about coming out of being ancestrally repressed, basically. I don't know how to feel about myself when I don't have this idea of being under a family curse to fall back on. Like, who am I really? Now, this going the other way near these cards is the Kama Sutra. And it's going this way. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. Right? I don't I don't understand my current position. Now, it could be related to romantic stuff, but it doesn't have to be. The idea that there's a book there just means you have to open yourself up to learning something new. I think there's what is that Andrew Lloyd Webber thing? Because I was thinking about that with the cello. Lloyd Webber plays Lloyd Webber. It's a really good album. One of the songs I think is like, You Don't Know How to Love Me or something like that. But it also goes back to The Witches of Eastwick, where I think it was Cher, she was arguing with Jack Nicholson's character, and he's like, I couldn't hurt any of you, I love you. And she's like, you don't even know what that means. And he's like, I could learn, you could teach me. This is the idea of learning how to be in a new position to open up emotionally, to move forward into a place where you haven't been before, right? It's like this crystal ball of what is the future of this. Now notice I have 2, and then I have a page which is a 1 or 11, and I see this idea of 11-11 universal timing with this 7 in here that tells me that there's something moving again, right? This background energy of the Chariot at a lower vibration. So it's like I'm struggling to open myself up and overcome that which is draining me because I don't know how to be in a position where my emotions aren't locked up, frozen inside me. But the ultimate goal in this directive is like, play me a dirge, like, get in, losers, we're going to the future. Alright, so we'll get into the emotional energy in a second. Just checking my focus again because I made a new section. I think that's alright. So in the Cups energy, in this emotional sector, oh, interesting, you can see Sagittarius right here. This higher self quorum emotional sector is coming in with the 5 of Swords inverted. It's like, I get this idea of like, it's time to cut the shit. But I also see this duality here, right? 2 and 2, and then 1 in the middle. It gives me this idea of like, I'm balancing my masculine and feminine energies. Now for me, the 5 of Swords is mind fuck. Mind games. Almost all of the time. Right? I'm cutting through the deception. I'm cutting through, the red tape. I'm cutting the ribbon open on my future. That's what I want to do. 5 of Swords, Venus and Aquarius. Okay, so we've got Uranus retrograde, and then Venus again is in Leo for October. Pretty sure anyway. But what's happening here is I have these sunglasses going the other way. Right? It's like this energy is part of the darkness. And I just got blinded by the light. Is that Mata Hoopel or is that somebody else? I don't know. Well, anyway. It's like being sort of overwhelmed by things that aren't really true. Is 5 is shifting. Right? I don't need these beer goggles anymore to think that this is true. So in the 3D, this it's this idea of like there's things that are like slid over a little bit, right? The cups are in the wands, the swords are in the cups. But what's interesting is there's a lot of wands energy here. But a lot of the time our core is tied to our heart as well. And I noticed this with the other 2 readings that I did for October already. That how we feel has a lot to do with whether we're letting our own core energy come up all the way into our consciousness, right? That's why there's just sleep paralysis. It's like I'm starting to get the hint, but I can't do anything yet. So in the 3D world for the emotional content, we have the Child with a Jack of Swords. So we have swords again. Now a Jack could be a knight or a page. I see a page here, so I'm going to say this is probably a page as well. Page of Swords, another 11, or a 1. I have 13 here, so I see the Magician, and I see the Empress again. Now the Magician is mercurial energy. And Mercury went into Libra for September, and it should still be there in October. But Libra is ruled by Venus. So I see this as well. And then Venus is in Leo, which is that sun energy, which goes back to this 6 of Cups. This is about the past again. Now the Page of Cups is dealing with fall energy, right? It's sort of like bundling up and starting to think about Christmas and what you want and, you know, goodies and snacks and things like that. At least in the northern hemisphere. So I see 1 and 3, I see 4, I see 11. But this could be a 1 as well, which gives me 5, which is again that pivot and shift number. So it's like we're receiving this idea of I'm not going to be blinded by these falsehoods anymore. It's kind of like looking back on your childhood and saying, wow, I can't believe I believed all this crap. Like, am I wasting my life? But the idea that there's the Jack, I just heard Jack of all trades. Or like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. There's a lot of nursery rhymes that have somebody named Jack in them, right? Jack Sprat could eat no fat, his wife could eat no lean, and so between them both, you see, they lick the platter clean. There's some other, Jack and the Beanstalk. I can't remember another one right now. But the Page. Right? Page is usually very youthful as well, but Page of Swords is saying, like, I have received the truth, and now I must set out on my journey. It's kind of like I'm getting this image of Link in The Legend of Zelda. Like he's kind of when they start out the game, he doesn't have much going for him, but he's got a sword and he can fuck up some chickens. So it's this idea of like, you know, you're setting out on this journey that you're supposed to be on. Why is my battery draining? I had 3 when I started, goddammit. Must be me, I'm sucking the power out of my batteries. That did not sound good out of context. Okay, so I see, okay. hopefully I can finish this section before the battery craps out. So the dissonance here, even though it seems like we're picking up the message, I get this idea of like, I can't believe it's not butter. Spy. Like, I can't believe I fell for all that crap. Like, I've been wasting my time. Like, if I knew now what I knew then, maybe I wouldn't be so fucked up. So we have the King of Cups, interesting. Leveling up in a hurry. King breaks down to a 14. Well, 14 breaks down to a 5. So we have this idea of, like, the message coming through here is balance and shifting again. But it's going to take a lot of work. Saturn and Sagittarius. Right? So Saturn is going direct at the end of September. So just before October starts, Saturn direct. So we have 5, and then it goes immediately to 10. And then we have the Fool inverted. So we have Uranus retrograde as well. So it tells me that these planets are shifting. What's the King of Cups? Libra and Scorpio. Okay, so Libra. So we have the Mercury energy going into Libra, where the Empress is sitting, which is probably why the King is getting this directive to nurture and balance himself out, right? And in our directive is, I don't know how to feel about this new position, but the emotional content is, I have to work at getting balance. I can't run away somewhere new and pretend like it's going to happen. I have to balance what I'm sitting on. But it's so hard. Right? It's like I need to get over this idea that I've been like hoodwinked in the past. Right? I didn't have the wool pulled over my eyes anymore, but I need to get in here. So what happened over here, I have the arrow going the other way. This is like is it swords or is it wands? I think this is an alternate wand. Yeah, this is an alternate wands energy, but it's also Sagittarius energy as well. It's like coming out of, let's see, Saturn coming out of retrograde, Jupiter coming out of retrograde, Sagittarius energy here as well. It's this idea of the wheel is turning, right? It's like, it was so hard before, but the energies that are coming up for October are going to start opening up this blockage. And then we have this wolf going the other way. But here, I'm going to see it like related to the dog, but this is, sometimes this little thing that I drew is more coyote to me than wolf. Sort of not drawn that great, and it's ambiguous. But I see this going the other way as, I don't need this trickster energy anymore to help me move in my path. I can't believe I fell for that. I'm not doing it anymore. Alright, so I'm going to change the battery and then we'll get into the swords energy. Okay, I'm backing up my files and I haven't done it properly in a while, so I have to like rip off the items out of the folder and then like re-put them all in, and it's taking a long ass time, but I gotta, every once in a while I just don't keep up with it right. Okay, so where's this? I think this rose goes over here. Oh, here's the other glasses. That's weird. So now I have the reading glasses. I have a book, I have the sunglasses, and now I have the reading glasses. So these were going the other way, so it's like, you don't need help seeing something anymore. Right? Perception is opening up. Wow, 2 of Pentacles in the challenge position. This butterfly, to me, gives me this idea of transformation. Now, I have this 2 over here. Right? This has to do with choice, right? Or the idea that I'm not really left with much of a choice. I have to move forward. This is also trying to juggle something, but it's caught in this like chakra machine. strict machine of like all our choices. Like if we okay, it's hard to explain this in like 2 seconds. There's the butterfly effect, right? The flapping of the wings of a butterfly on one side of the world has a sort of a cumulative exponential buildup, right? It goes into a crescendo where it creates a tsunami on the other side of the world. Now, if I make a choice over here, it splits the universes, so I now exist in the universe where I made this choice. But the universe where I made the other choice exists too, but I'm not experiencing it. But they're eternally interconnected, so that every choice that I make in my universe still has an effect on that universe over there. And in some ways it doesn't really matter what you choose. It's sort of the energy that drives your experience. And in that way, it's like the perception, the challenge to perception, something that you may not have seen before, glasses, it gives me this idea of there isn't really any choice in your life because there's always the other one existing somewhere, somehow. But it all has to do on what you're experiencing. Now this energy is Jupiter in Capricorn, which is the same energy that's coming through here, right? It's like in the crossroads between luck and intense work. And also that Sagittarius is coming up a lot in your own reading. But it's this continued like feedback loop that has to do with the shifting of your own planet, especially because it's going to be in Capricorn, right? It's like one universe feeds into the other universe, everything in pairs, everything into duality. So it's like your dark side and your light side feed back into each other in this loop. But I also see it as Jupiter and Saturn as going back into this ancestral thing. Or it's like things that you do now actually affect the past as well. Your choice to heal sends information back through space-time and can alter the perception of reality of people that came before you. So when you choose to heal your own ancestral trauma, it doesn't seem fair that you have to do all the work. But what actually happens is it's like you rewrite the code and you take out viruses. So even code that's, maintaining the world of, 1800 or 1254 BC, it's like it has an effect on the way that those worlds are generated. And I don't know if I can explain that right, but it's like when it seems like you're doing all the work, it's still rewriting all of the past in your DNA. And the reason that this is coming in perception is because the perception of your manifestation is kind of what generates it. And the smallest change in concept for you can create this entire shift of your experience in reality. Oh man, this is so good. I wish this wasn't just on Patreon. Well, people will see it when they need to see it. There's Saturn down here. Alright, so the Capricorn energy. Oh, I'm not supposed to read that one yet. I got distracted because of Saturn. Leave that there. So the way that this is being picked up in the 3D, the sun is So we have the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like we're getting half of the message. Right? This is like, I'm okay to go. No, the sundial in this is on the 6, and I don't remember why, so I'm just going to skim it in the book because I know it was important. Oh, look, I have 13 here, now I have 31. So it's giving the same energy that Libra and Magician and Venus. What's the 6 on the sun doing? The 1972 eclipse of the sun. It's more Monty Python. Control the ego, charisma, confidence, courage, victory, glory. Don't get too cocky. Success and big luck. Okay. As the sun marks the passing of the hours, the shadow falls upon the number 6, a solar number. Okay, so that's all it means. Energizing and revitalizing in nature. The confidence to step out into the light by engaging with a project or taking a new direction. Alright. Notice that this breaks down to 4, and I really wanted to call this the sun in Capricorn. But it's not the 4 of Pentacles, it's the 2. But I have a number 4 here, and I have the Ace of Pentacles, which again breaks down to that number 5. So everything is shifting. There's a turn, it's a pivot, the worm is turned and is now packing an Uzi. That's from the movie Wolf. Alright, so I have Saturn energy here, I have Leo energy here, and what's coming in the middle here? 10 of Swords inverted. Alright? So I haven't got time for the pain. This is like hard work. I'm tired of this drainage. I'm tired of being stabbed in the back. It's like, okay, I was still able to get along with the 5 swords in my back, but when you cram those other 5 in there, I was like, nah, I'm good. I've had enough. Okay, so here's the sun in Gemini. What is Gemini doing? Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is in Leo, and it's the Lovers, which could be healing. It's a duality, right? That dual nature of things, dark, light, masculine, feminine. It's also the North Node right now, opposite of Sagittarius. So the Hierophant in inverted, Venus energy. But I also have a 5. I see 15. It's telling me Saturn retrograde because it's the devil number together. But I see the same thing here, 5 and 10 together. Like here we're ramping up to something. Here we're breaking something down. I almost get this idea of like previous downloads were interrupted by the mind games, right? There's a distortion in the feedback. Maybe not like from the universe at large, right? From the information that you're getting, there's a distortion of what was coming in based on the ancestral trauma. But with these, I have the 4 of Swords inverted. Notice 14 swords. That Temperance number, but also another 5, and then 19 inverted total is the opposite of the sun. It's like it's like the message is coming through, but there's a delay in like realizing where you're going and what you're doing because there's this darkness that has to be kind of accepted. Right, you need to be able to accept the moon phase and not just say, oh, I want the sunshine. Right, in order to heal the past, you must chill out. This is also a card of awakening when it's inverted, though. This is, I'm taking a nap. It's a little bit like the Hanged Man. But now it's like, alright, I'm getting up. I got some get up and go. 4 of Swords, Oh, of course, Sagittarius and Libra. Right, so balance, but now I need to, I don't just want balance, I want justice for my life. I want equilibrium. Right? And then Saturn coming over that. So again, this dichotomy between... I kind of get also like this idea of the master and the student, or sort of a threatening force, and sort of like a David and Goliath kind of a moment happening here. Like I'm building up this energy to slingshot myself in the third eye to open up this consciousness so that I'm not overshadowed, right? Darkness is overshadowed by the grief of having been trapped previously in these mindsets. All right, so manifestation-wise, in this 5D squared, 7 of Swords. So here it came in sideways and now it's inverted. I have the Fox here. This is like my sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Now what's interesting about this, let me get the charm that matches that. Where's my little fox? I just heard this little thing in the back of my head about something about sleeping in foxholes. There's a bunch of sayings regarding that. I don't remember how it goes. I'm trying to find my fox that's in here. I don't remember how... I thought it was fairly large. I don't find it. I have a particular set of skills. I will find you and I will dig you out of the box. I shouldn't lean over that far. It's hurting my neck. Where's my fox, goddammit? Son of a bitch, where the fuck are you? These charms are fucking kick-ass. Say so my damn self. When I'm using them, I'm like impressed with how making like 150 little tiny drawings over a few days and like not really trying that hard, but they came out so good, and I'm just like, wow, you know what? I actually do have some skills here. Where the hell? I'm finding that... Well, maybe it's relevant for Sagittarius in general, but there's this idea of... Like, the sunshine is kind of... with the solar energy, not only is it confidence, but it's sort of, you know, this idea of Jupiter overcoming Saturn, right? Zeus versus Kronos, of, you know, standing up for yourself and, you know, protecting yourself and those around you from the same energies that have negatively affected you, if you're able to. Come on. There it is. Ugh. There's the matching fox charm that I made. Same. Okay. So in this particular 7 of Swords, there's 6 swords together and one by itself. Right? I'm sleeping on the truth. When it's inverted, this stuff that... The 6 of Swords card is my sailing away from the bullshit, and when it's inverted, it's like we need to go deeper. But here's the 7. This is a slightly different energy. This is the moon in Aquarius. Right? So we have this Uranus retrograde. And the moon inverted tells me that sun energy again. Right? I'm overturning the darkness. I'm letting... I get this, let thine eye shine like a friend on Denmark. I think that's what the line is. But usually when I get the fox charm that matches this fox here, it's like I'm not going to come out and play unless I know that you're friendly, right? So I'm getting a little bit of like once bitten, twice shy energy here as well. But the directive is like no more sneaky tricks, basically. And we see that because Coyote's going the other way as well. Now, I have a key here that reminds me a lot of Wands. It reminds me of the Two of Wands, because some Two of Wands cards, there's this idea that there's like a key that could open a couple of different things, especially in the Cairo Marchetti Legacy deck. The Two of Wands is like two boxes with a key, and that's what this reminds me of, because it kind of looks like a wand thing. This is going the other way. And then I have a rose here that was kind of straddling these two things here. There's a song by Poison. They're like there's a hair metal band from the 80s, but they're kind of mediocre. And they had a song that was like, every rose has its thorns. There's this idea that, you know, there's always a duality in life where you have this incredible beauty and this spiral geometry, the sort of opening of the mysteries of the universe. But it comes at the same time as things that we would perceive as painful, right? You try to grab onto things too hard and your fingers are going to be bleeding. Now, I see this. It's like, I see that. Okay, all right. I choose to continue on in life with, I'm not going to lock myself away because I think things might hurt me. I'm going to go out and experience the beauty and try to be open in my ways that I interact with the world around me. I don't want to manifest inside like a foam bubble. I might be cautious, but I'm still going to go out there because I'm gaining hold of the truth. Now, the way that this is coming down into the 3D, the bridges. So this doesn't. This is like an extra card in this deck, and it doesn't have a specific card, so that tells me major arcana. But what I have here is a 3, which is the Empress, and then I have 8, which is, depending on the deck, is either Strength, Leo, or Libra, which is Venus energy. Is that right? Yeah. So either way, Empress, Venus, Leo. Venus is in Leo right now. And then we have the idea of the matching counterpart, Mercury. Right? Venus has 2 signs, Mercury has 2 signs. They're together in this Libra energy that's linked with the Leo energy as well. So this idea of radiating balance and nurturing into communication, and that's why we're building bridges here, right? I'm going to come across this chasm that I think is going to kill me. But in order to gain this beauty of interacting with the world, I'm going to try to build a bridge across it. So it's coming down, but there's still something going on in the blockage. And we have a snake here. So this danger noodle, to me, the way I drew it, has to do with resonance. Now, I think it's called recursion. there's some bridges that were built like in the 1930s or something, 1940s, whatever. And they had this thing where there'd be a vibration on them, and the waves would link up together, and they would get enormous, and the bridge shook apart while people were on it. I think it's called recursion. All right, so this is sort of saying, like, if you're okay to sort of tread the dangerous parts of your life, you still have to be sure that the energy that you're resonating with is balanced and won't give increase to the destructive forces. Okay. So we have Judgment inverted, so that's 20. Fire energy, Pluto. So Pluto is retrograde either until October 4th or the end of November. I can't remember which one is which. So we have that scorpionic essence too. Like it's like I'm withholding judgment on what's good or bad because I don't know yet, but I feel like it's linked to this Kama Sutra idea over here of like, I don't know, like I lost my place in the book, I don't know what I'm doing. So Page of Wands inverted, which is similar energy to over here, right? I've lost my place, I don't know where I'm going quite. And then I have the Lovers here. Now I did mention that earlier. Healing, duality, Gemini energy, choice, right? I'm not quite sure what to do in regards to the energy. And I also get this idea of like there's a blockage to the Kundalini energy as well, because I have the Kama Sutra over here and I have the snake over here. I sense that there's probably back pain or like groin pain, because I feel like Pluto and Scorpio has to do with the genitals, and then I see this guy not able to hold his wand up, and the Lovers are like, dude, are you pushing the rope? What? And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. It's this idea of I don't feel safe in the world yet, so my sacral chakra is making it difficult for me to complete this loop of energy, because every time I try to raise my vibration, I get caught in the bowels of my body, and I can't get the energy all the way up into my solar chakra to open this communicative pathway to people in the world around me. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Sagittarius can't get it up, or whatever the lady equivalent of that is. Like desert dry all up in there, right? Can't squeeze water from a stone. It's not necessarily that. It has to do with the manifestation of energy. I can't manifest this crucial internal chakra energy, which is a higher level, right? The 5D. In reality, I'm trying to manifest this cross-link with other people or someone in particular, but I'm struggling because there's either me or the someone I'm dealing with or the people I'm dealing with somehow don't feel safe and secure. It's like, it's kind of like getting the book thrown at you. I get a sense of like misunderstanding or Gemini miscommunication. We're not resonating with each other because we're not getting into this solar energy and some of that too is like, especially if you're dealing with a person who might, according to this, potentially be a love interest. If you're having a soul connection, it's probably going to be connecting at the solar chakra. And if you can't get out of this sacral chakra energy where you don't feel safe, then you're not going to be able to rise up into the solar chakra to feel the strength of the connection. And it's just going to be like, we're not on the same page. And if we're not on the same page, then you're building a bridge over here, I'm building a bridge over here, and now we can only yell at each other from our bridge towers. So there's this idea that this blockage is probably going to be addressed in October. Alright, so let's look at this. Oh, and then of course I have 2 cards, right? Like for us and whoever this external force or person is, right? Me and the world, me and my person, me and my ego, me and my higher self. You know, me and my ability to function as an adult in the world. Okay? So these kind of came out sideways, but notice that both of these pictures have to do with sort of an intimacy, right? Now, if you're having trouble with your sacral chakra and you don't feel safe, there's also this idea that the intimacy kind of lies in the waters within there. There's a really good description of the sacral chakra in the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, which matches this. So I'm going to have to get that now, too. Ugh. Holy goddamn fucking... It's like a show and tell here. I'm drinking all this friggin' hydration water. Now I gotta pee again. But I'm gonna read this because this is really important to this reading. Okay, so the card here is the Sea Serpent. It's got blue on it in the actual deck. Right. Healing emotional wounds, expressing desires. Right, so it has to do with energy of expression, creativity, sensuality. Okay. Whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire, the Sea Serpent helps move us and direct our energy into a healthy current, which is the snake. Especially when you have air energy, swords energy, and we're dealing with some kind of a flow. Aquarius especially is electric currency. When the essence of this is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment. And we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to healing our wounds. When the energy of the Sea Serpent is not yet activated... Alright, so this is the snake, the Sea Serpent here. Our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the Sea Serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection. So that's that Empress energy here, that nurturing. She supports us as we learn to express our true natures, right? So here, over here, with this Kama Sutra book and this Page of Cups and stuff over here, I was talking about, like, I don't know how to be myself in this new position where I'm not tied to this trauma. So it's the nurturing that we need to get this King of Cups balance, or this child maybe not nurtured so much. But the idea that this sun energy, this solar energy coming out, well, Venus is in Leo, is this idea of the nurturing of the true nature is extremely important here. Even this Lover's card has the sun on it, with the Temperance Angel. Raphael represent. Okay. So, and then on the next page here, when it's talking about the solar chakra, I mean, the second chakra, the sacral chakra. Alright, located deep within the pelvic bowl, this chakra is known as our center of creativity and desire, and is associated with the water element, even though it's orange. So we have some tang, delicious tang. So the chakra is called Svadhisthana. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It translates as in her own abode, indicating this chakra is the home of the Divine Mother or the Kundalini herself. Okay? So even though the Kundalini comes from the root all the way to the crown, it's sort of like this, like the bowl of the pelvis in the physical body is like the cave where the snake lives. Right? So it gets that root energy. It's sort of like the root is sort of like the home fire, the hearth that gives the snake energy, right? Because the snake is a reptile and it needs heat to, to warm it up, and then it goes and it does the thing. So it just lives in that place in the body, it's sort of cradle of energy. It's like the pot that boils up and the heat rises throughout the whole system. Alright, so that's from there. I thought that was really important. So what we have here, this is sort of protection of self or other people that I had mentioned, right? I don't want anyone else to deal with the same crap energy that I had to encounter either. And this is more of like lack of shame, lack of guilt, lack of I'm okay to interact with other people because I'm allowing myself to experience pain and beauty because I'm starting to be more secure in myself. It's this idea of like intimacy, but also on more of an energetic, intellectual level. But here we have trust. Transformation occurs through acceptance. Once you accept the current situation, it will automatically transform. Okay. Forgiveness. Stop focusing your energy on past events, right? The past. For life is too precious to waste. You create your reality by what you think, dream, and imagine. Okay, so those are those energies there. Now I was talking about that over here. It's like you're constantly shifting the reality based on the choices that you make in your universe that create this sort of change in direction. This, okay, here's the universes. I'm splitting off 5, pivot, and now I'm over here, and now I'm over here, like these branches. Trust and forgiveness. So it's not only it's basically trusting yourself, and forgiving yourself for when you didn't know as much for believing in this crap. And this idea of, you don't really have to forgive people that hurt you in the past, but this is idea that I'm not going to hold what happened to me against every single other person that I encounter, so that I'm afraid to show them who I really am. Alright? So, I think that's enough This is October Sagittarius with charms. So if you want to get a personal reading, you can hit me up. The cat came back at camp. Let me get Fred out of the way here. At gmail.com. I'm going to put the link to my infomercial video below in the Patreon comments under this video. About the list of readings that I offer and how much they cost is in that description box of that of the infomercial video. You could also just email me. I'll give you that. I also have links to prints and merch. I've been working on my cafe press a lot this week, like 2 or 3 whole days. And then I've got coloring books and a poetry book, and I've got all this art here in my catalog. There's a post for this down here on Patreon, and if you want to continue to support my work, you could always upgrade to the next level here on Patreon. Obviously there's only 3 levels, but you know what I mean. And then you can always hit that tip jar, paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. I've got a couple of regular card decks on Make playing cards. They're a little expensive because I made the custom box, so they'd be nicer. Eventually I'm going to have Oracle decks there, but I haven't finished them yet. So eventually, when I get all this other stuff cleared up. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out playlist tab, discussion tab on my regular YouTube area, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.